In this video, we'll begin working with data sets in RStudio. Now we've already imported the example data set into our environment window, so it is now a data frame, which means it has observations and variables that we can work with. If we want to view all of the names of the variables within a data frame, we can use the names function. All it takes is the name of the data frame within the parentheses. And we can see the names of our 8 variables displayed here in the console window. If we want to get a view of the data set in a spreadsheet view, we can use the view function, which again just takes the name of our data frame. And that will open up in another tab next to our script file, a spreadsheet view of the data frame. We can achieve the same result by simply clicking on the name of the data frame in our environment window. Now within this data set, let's say that we want to analyze the exercise variable, which is a categorical variable of self-reported exercise of all these participants. The possible values are never, sometimes, or often. If we'd like to know how many of each of those outcomes occur in our data set, we need a frequency table. In order to do a frequency table in R, we're going to use the table function. Now the table function takes a single argument, which needs to be a variable within a data frame. We're going to call out a specific variable by giving the data frame name first, followed by the $sign. Once you type the $sign, you should see a list of all the possible variables within that data frame. And you can either type that variable name out, or you can simply click on it to select it. Since we want the exercise variable, I selected that variable. Now we can run our table function and get a frequency table of all of our exercise outcomes. There are 20 participants who never exercise, 21 who exercise sometimes, and 24 who exercise often. Notice that the values are in alphabetical order within the frequency table. Finally, let's create a subset from our data set that only contains participants that fall under a certain criteria. Let's say we only want to consider participants that exercise often, these 24 people that have that response for that exercise variable. In order to make a subset of the data, I need to first start by giving R the name of that subset that I want it to have. I'm just going to call it often. Then we're going to give R the assignment arrow, which will assign something on the right-hand side of it to whatever label we just gave on the left-hand side. Then in order to create a subset, I'm going to have to give it my data frame name, then a square bracket, and then the criteria that we want to subset the data on. So I'm going to say example, $sign, then my exercise variable, and then I want to give it the condition with which I want to subset, which is those that say often. Finally, I need a comma right before my closing bracket. This will tell R to take the rows in which exercise is equal to often and all of the columns, meaning that I'll retain all 8 variables in my subset. Keep in mind to put the often in quotes because it is a text label. If it was a number that we were conditioning on, we wouldn't need the quotes. And the double equal sign is telling R to give us only the rows where that variable is exactly equal to the word often. If we run this line, what we will see is a new data frame show up in our environment window. It is the subset that we just created called often. It contains 24 observations, just those people that said often to the exercise variable, yet it retained all 8 variables. So if we click on that to view it, what we're going to see are the 24 subjects, and notice that every single one of them has an often in the exercise column. But we can see there are other measurements across the other variables with this new subset.